Let's talk one of your favorite subjects, Buckeyes in the NFL draft. 9 of them taken this year by various teams, 3 of them in the first round. And the DBU continues, 2 cornerbacks taken in the first 19 picks. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. I was kind of surprised KJ Hill lasted as long as he did. I thought Benjamin Victor might have been taken, but nine in a draft is pretty impressive.
Well, the other one is J.K. Dobbins going to the Ravens. I think that's a great situation for him. He's different than Mark Ingram. He's different than the running backs they have. And, oh, by the way, defenses have to worry about Lamar Jackson running the football, too, which it's great for the Ravens, not so good for our Browns.
Who play them twice a year.
Right, every year. Anybody else that stands out on that group?
No, I think that's although Arnett, I thought went early.
Yeah.
But that's the only question that I would have.
Yeah, and the flip side of that is they're drafting, the skill, the coaching that he's getting. They're now Ohio State defensive backs mean something in NFL circles because of the success they've had. Well, when we talk Ohio State, we're going to welcome in Stephen Means, Buckeyes beat reporter here on cleveland.com. Stephen, appreciate the time and the insight as always. What jumps out to you about the 9 Buckeyes that were taken in this year's NFL draft?
Yeah, KJ Hill especially, I thought he'd be maybe a 5th or 6th round guy just because he's not the best athlete. He's smaller, he's kind of slow, but he's got reliable hands. Brian Hartline often said last season that KJ Hill has the best hands of anybody on Ohio State's team, and he showed that. He's been the leading reception getter for the last couple of years here. He's Ohio State's all-time leader in receptions. He broke that record last season. But then you remember, this is a deep wide receiver draft, and so while you maybe have thought, okay, he could work his way up into the 5th round, I think the lack of a pro day, that extra stuff that comes with preparing for the NFL draft that wasn't available to him. When you're in a class that's this deep with wide receivers, there's a chance he's going to fall. And that's what we saw. And so you saw all across Twitter, why hasn't KJ Hill been taken? Well, those are the reasons. He's not the best athlete. This is a deep class.
Who are some of the guys that are a little under the radar, in the middle of that group that you think could really pop in the NFL?
Davon Hamilton, for sure, a 5th-year senior who really broke out in his first year as a starter. Obviously, we know what Chase Young did, but he was one of the other inside guys that really had a breakout season, and the teachings of Larry Johnson live on. And you saw I think he went earlier in the draft than I thought he would, going in the 3rd round there. So he's the guy I would look at as staying 5 years and waiting to be a starter for 5 years and learning from Larry Johnson. He's going to be able to come in right away and help a team. So he's the main of those middle of the pack guys who aren't the obvious. They're going to be a Pro Bowler one day. I think he's the guy to keep an eye on.
None of them seem to get hurt by the coaching change, or am I missing something here?
Oh, within the defensive backs, no, of course not, because that is with Damon Arnett, Jordan Fuller, and with Jeff Okudah, especially with Jeff Okudah, that's talent. He was going to be a 1st-round cornerback no matter what happened there. With Damon Arnett coming back the 5th year, obviously Jeff Hafley helped as a guy who had just come from the NFL coaching a guy like Richard Sherman, but Damon Arnett also learned under, Kerry Combs before he left. And so with those guys, no, they don't get hurt by the defensive back coach changes because, well, unlike Alex Grinch, Jeff Hafley knew what he was doing as a defensive backs coach. So, no, I'm not surprised that, especially with Jeffrey Okudah, I'm not surprised that he was still a top 10 pick. That was going to be a top 10 pick if I was his assistant coach for the last 3 years.
You've seen a number of really good defensive backs play for Ohio State. Where does Okudah rank in that hierarchy? You've got Lattimore and Ward here, and there's a number of them in the NFL. Where's Jeffrey Okudah ranked talent-wise?
He's Marshawn Lattimore and him might be neck and neck, especially when you look at Marshawn. I think the difference is Marshawn Lattimore popped out of nowhere because he was injured most of his Ohio State career, and so until you knew it was there, you just needed a chance for him to get on the field and show it. And he spent that 1 year showing it, and now he's one of the best defensive backs in the NFL. Jeffrey Okudah is on that same trajectory. He had the Denzel Ward plan at Ohio State where you play a little bit as a freshman, you rotate as a sophomore, and then you're the guy as a junior. But I think he's going to have a Marshawn Lattimore type impact, especially with the Detroit Lions after they got rid of Darius Slay. He's their number 1 corner, so he's going to get action every single Sunday for 16 weeks. And I think he could be a Pro Bowler as early as next season. So Marshawn Lattimore, it's probably Jeffrey Okudah and Marshawn Lattimore are 1A and 1B.
The other thing that we have to point out, Ohio State with the 3 first-rounders now has historically more first-round picks than any other, program, which that's a feather in the cap. And they just passed USC, who was good back in the 80s and 90s. And other than that, there's a wide gap.
And it's probably not going to stop anytime soon, especially when you look at what Larry Johnson is doing in the defensive line room. Kerry Combs is back in the defensive back room, and he's racking up recruits as if, he's racking up recruits the way that some people breathe 4 or 5-star guys there. That's not going to stop. They're going to continue to produce defensive backs in the first round. They're going to continue to produce defensive linemen in the first round. Justin Fields is probably going to be the 1st or 2nd pick next year in the draft. And Ryan Day's got a 5-star kid coming in after that. I think the quarterbacks might sneak into there as first-round guys. That gap's going to continue to get widened, especially since we see what's going on with USC right now. They're just a complete mess.
If you were another team, especially in the Big Ten, you say, okay, they got 9 guys who won't be there next year. It could be time for us to do something. But they just, as you say, they just reload. Any position that looks like it might be a problem, that they don't have somebody just to pop and play?
Yeah. As much as we just raved about the defensive backs, outside of Shaun Wade, there's nobody else that's proven. Now, Tyree Johnson was a 5-star kid in the 2018 Class 7. Banks showed some things last year, and Cam Brown showed some things last year as well. But it's a lot of young guys who haven't proven anything, and that's mainly because when you got Jeff Okudah, Damon Arnett, Jordan Fuller, and Shaun Wade, those guys are not coming off the field, so they didn't rotate as much. So there are maybe more questions and answers outside of Shaun Wade, who Mel Kiper said is going to be a high draft pick next year, and I believe him. There are questions there because those guys just haven't proven anything. But still, that's high-level talent, and Kerry Combs is their coach. The track record kind of speaks for itself. You expect some greatness to come out of there.